in, pull up a chair. Come on in. I want to talk to you today about something that has had a just absolutely massive impact on my life. And the more I teach other people about this concept, the more I see its importance. And so I guess the main question, I'm all about the questions, all about really good questions that I want to ask you right now is, are you being on purpose? Do you know your purpose? Have you ever thought about this? And I love to ask this question because I talk to people all day, every day about their goals. And when I find it's interesting, we have a hard time as humans coming up with a really solid goal and a really big picture for our lives, a vision, because we don't actually know and understand our purpose. When I typically ask people, what is your purpose? Most people cannot tell you. So if you're going, ooh, I don't know. If you said to be a parent, that can't be your purpose. Because you were here before your kids. So what was your purpose then? Nothing? Just to be? And eventually your kids are going to be grown and gone and living their own purpose. Then what's your purpose? You're going to feel purposeless. I talk to people about that too. If someone can tell me their purpose, it's typically really vague, really unclear. It's like people have this like misty understanding of what a purpose is. So I want to focus in on it today because as your awareness shifts and changes around this topic, your life will begin to expand in ways that you could not have ever imagined. The truth is that your purpose actually isn't a thing. It's a feeling, and you need to capture it. And when you know what your purpose is, it is the most powerful, energizing feeling. I just got goosebumps over my whole body, entire world. And even when like shit hits the fan and you're like, what's going on? All this stuff's happening outside of you. Your purpose keeps you going. Doesn't matter. Nothing can take you out of purpose when you really know it. It's not something you retire from. So if you go, I know my purpose, I'm living it right now. Maybe you are. Maybe you have plans for how you're going to serve in that space, even out of an organization or a structure that you stay in for 30 years. That's cool. When you know, but it energizes you constantly. And it taps you into this like untapped powerhouse. Okay, when you have a clearly defined purpose, what happens is it's like this laser beam and you become extremely focused. I said, no outside circumstances are happening outside of you constantly. People, places, things, all the things are happening. But when you are on purpose, You look at everything in your world in a completely different way. Right? So when I hear my kids, they'll say, "Mom, she did that to me on purpose." They're saying to me, "Mom, they did it to me intentionally. My sister pushed me intentionally. My sister did this intentionally." But then as we become adults, we stop doing things on purpose. We go into conformity. We go into like, oh, well, I guess this is the job I have. And okay, this is my family. And I'm going to go into I'm going to get into my routine. And then we stop being intentional. We stop being on purpose. Because the fact is your goals and your vision for your life will change constantly, but your purpose never will. I love the quote when I can't even think of who said it off the top of my head. There's two important days in your life: the day you were born and the day you find out why you were born. That's how important finding your purpose is. When you discover what it is, that is when your life truly begins. And people who discover and live their life on purpose use their mental, emotional, creative, physical energies to develop constantly themselves. They're constantly in growth mode. Remember, we either create or we disintegrate. Okay. And when you discover your purpose, you will constantly go in growth mode to develop your skill, your talent, your interest, whatever it is that you love. You're never satisfied with status quo, ever. You strive for mastery. Are you starting to look at your purpose differently? When you give yourself to something you genuinely love, it calls forth your spirit. And it makes you happier and just more fulfilled. And it just makes you in sync with both parts of yourself. I very specifically remember not being on purpose. I remember going to school. Don't regret it. I learned lots of things about myself during that time, met lots of really awesome people that I will be friends with forever. And then I got the job, corporate, good old fashioned corporate government job, full time pension benefits. I was set. So everybody was telling me, oh my God, you work for the government, you're set. I was making 100K a year. But I felt, this is where it's a feeling, that feeling that even though you might like your job, I liked my job. I was really good at it. Really good at it. Came to work every day. I did my thing, did some creation, went home. But that feeling deep in my core, I felt like I was just going to work every day. I felt like I was kind of just wandering. And I thought I had this big, huge, audacious goal. I was going to be CEO of the hospital that I worked at, by the way. That was the goal. Okay. And then I had a chance to really test drive that role. And I realized, ooh, this isn't my goal at all. Like at all. Like I am not at all interested in this job. And I still couldn't see me staying in something like the box that I'd put myself in any longer. I remember when a mentor of mine asked me, "What is your purpose?" And I had no idea how to respond. I went into these ramblings because at that point, like I was a new mom and I was an educator and I was a wife and I went on like started just a slew of lists of all the things that I thought I was, but I didn't know my purpose. I had to really get some clarity. And guys, I can tell you with 100% certainty when I found my purpose, I was like, dang, this is what I've been missing out on. This feeling that like pumps me up. Guys, like when I'm out of bed in the morning, there's no snooze button. There's no like, oh, I gotta go to work. There's none of that. And what I'm going to tell you is that sometimes your on purpose work is is already created for you, and sometimes you have to create it yourself. That's what I had to do for me. I had to go, I like to do this. I'm really good at this. This is how I love to spend my time. This is what gives me energy. This, blah, blah, blah. I had to like be like a little klepto of like all these little things and create it. But your purpose, okay, it is different than your vision and it is different than your goals. And most people don't understand the difference. Okay, your purpose will lead to your vision, and your vision then sets up your goals. And again, your vision and goals will change, but there's a difference. Okay, your purpose is why you're living, it's why you're here. It's your raison d'etre, your reason for being. Your vision, it's like this long range view of all the things you want to accomplish in order to get to your purpose. So I like to think of it as if I were, climbing a mountain of my life and I'm standing at the top and I'm looking out over the town or whatever. I'm looking out over my life. How do I want it to look? How do I want it to feel? What people do I want in it? What people don't I want in it? Is it a wealthy country or is it impoverished? Is it healthy and lush and green? Or is it a desert? Okay, you get to decide what your vision is, but most people go, oh, well, I was just given my vision. But most people are, they were given a vision because that's the vision their parents had. And they're like, this is where generational stuff keeps going, right? And they just adopt it as their own and just assume that's all there is, where that's not. That's how people get out of generational stuff too. You get to decide a different path for you. You may have a like generational history of alcoholics. You can decide differently. You may have a generation upon generation upon generation of people that lived in poverty. You can decide differently. What do you want? What is your vision for your life? And then you can set up the goals that align with the vision and that help you be on purpose, help you be intentional. And guys, when you're on purpose, this is where like even decision making becomes so much easier because you're either making a decision that's going to move you towards your purpose. It's either on purpose or it's not. It's pretty black and white. There's no like gray. Oh, I'm kind of on purpose. No, you're either on purpose or you're not. Okay, so what is your purpose? This is the ultimate question that I invite you to really, really explore. And nature, again, shows us beautifully. Humans are not alone in having a purpose. Everything in nature is always expanding, always evolving, always moving towards a bigger fulfillment. Right? A bee wants to pollinate flowers and trees. If you've ever seen the Bee Movie, you can see what happens if those bees decide to take another route. A plant produces oxygen. A cloud forms to produce rain. Okay. However, the difference between you and the bee is that you are able to co create your reality through your thoughts. A bee is always just going to want to pollinate. I don't mean to say just, it's kind of a big deal. I understand the process. I watched the bee movie. I'm an expert. Okay. A bee is always going to want to pollinate. A plant is always going to want to produce oxygen. But humans have this unique ability to co create our reality. We can say, this is what I am feeling driven to do. And this is what I'm good at. And this is what I love. And this is like, I had this thought and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if that happened? Okay. So instead of all members of species having this, like, everybody's militant purpose, right? We're not all here to pollinate just like bees are. Okay. Each person has its own unique purpose. And you might be going, what? No, my purpose is to heal people. And that's why I'm a nurse. And there's like 50 other nurses that just work on my floor. But guess what? You're not all going to nurse in the exact same way. I bet you your patients could actually attribute to that. You might say, I'm a teacher. I'm here to educate our next generation. Again, amazing. That's an incredible purpose. Okay. The purpose, though, is to educate the next generation. I do that. I'm not a teacher. I help people heal themselves. I'm not a nurse. Right. So this is where you get to decide, okay, this is my purpose. And I get to decide how I'm going to show up in that purpose. And that's where your vision comes in. For me, I felt working in corporate, and this is just me, I was just in the box was too tight. I had no room. I felt suffocated. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I couldn't help people the way I wanted to help people. And are there other health and mindset coaches out there? 100%. But guess what? They don't do it like I do it. I'm a really kick-ass coach, like incredible. And that's not conceit. That's just how certain I am that I'm on purpose. That's what that looks like. You could be like, oh, you're just so confident. Sure, I guess. But confidence comes naturally when you are on purpose. And it feels so good and it's so easy. Okay, the more you don't nurture your purpose, the more you will feel stuck, off track, not in sync. So make sure you're really clear on this. Don't just set goals that are like blind and aiming at nothing. Oh, well, my goal is to earn $1 million. I get told that all the time. I want to earn $1 million. Okay. Well, how are you going to do that? Because money comes through service. It's energy, just like everything else. How are you going to earn it? Oh, well, I was thinking I would do this, this, and this. Okay. Well, what's your purpose? Oh, I don't really know my purpose. Well, then how do you know that your goals on how you're going to earn, either way, if you want $1 million, that's what you're supposed to have, or else you wouldn't desire it. That's a fact that I believe. But let me tell you, your ways of getting $1 million, if they're not on purpose, it's like you're going like this to get there, versus on purpose is like, boom, straight line. And that's when those quantum leaps happen. And we go, oh my gosh, how did that even happen? And a lot of times it doesn't even make sense. Albert Einstein, Henry Ford, all these brilliant people that did really huge things had like very little education on the books. And yet we live in a society now, high amounts within Canada and the US that have gone to university. And yet, is anybody happier? Is anybody healthier? No, because we're just doing what we're supposed to be doing and not doing it on purpose. And I know this was my case, guys. I was expert. I made lists just to make a list. I had lists for my lists. And I would just check, 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 check. Not one damn thing on that list was on purpose. Not one thing. Not one thing. And at the end of the day, you'll know it. You'll feel it. I love when I see somebody that like I haven't seen for years. And I mean, I get the stage of life that even I'm in, right? A lot of the people I know have like little kids and teenagers and whatever, and they're doing their thing. And I say to them, how's it going? Like, I haven't seen you for years. What is up? And they go, oh my God, I don't know. I don't know. It's just so busy and crazy. I don't even know what I do in a day. I'm like, I guess. I can't even resonate with that. Not because I haven't been there, because I have, but mostly because once you get put on purpose, I can tell you exactly what I do in a day. I can tell you exactly how I spent my time. I can tell you exactly where I spent my money. I can tell you when the last time, like what I eat in a day, how long I work out for, because everything is done on purpose. Everything. And it's not that I'm militant structured. I just know I know what my help like I know who I am, like where I'm going. I've seen the vision for my life. I know my purpose and I know where I'm headed. So every decision I make either leads to that or it doesn't. But if you're just making lists to make lists, nothing's going to change. Every day you're just going to have a new list. And every day you're just going to be sitting there with your pen, check, 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 check. Okay, it's the purpose behind what you are doing that will give you energy to keep going. Your list is not going to keep you going. It's just going to make you feel like crap when you don't achieve it. And then you look back on the last 20 years of your life and go, what the heck did I just do? Okay, your purpose puts this laser on everything that you do. And it's the purpose that gives you this new life. Okay, the greatest thing you were ever given, we as humans were ever given, is a human mind. It separates you from all other species. My dog, who's sitting at the bottom of my feet, he's living his purpose right now. His purpose was to get up and then he eats and then we go for a walk and then he sits at my feet all day. And I love it and he brings so much joy to my life. But he doesn't have the mental faculties that we do as humans. Okay, so if your purpose is to wake up, eat, go for a walk, sit at somebody else's feet all day, and then go home and eat and go to sleep, how are you any different than my dog? But you have the capabilities to create anything that you want if you do it on purpose. And when you know, you know. You will use these mental and emotional and creative faculties like no other. You'll know if you're not fulfilled, if you're not happy with your life, even though all the boxes were checked, You went to school, you got married, you had the kids, you got the house, you got the job, you got it all in the order, and yet you're going FML. Not a happy cat here. If you have everything you're supposed to have, shouldn't you be ecstatic about your life? My biggest aha moment. I was like, I'm not ecstatic. I have every reason to be ecstatic, but I wasn't. I was so dissatisfied. I felt like I was just like, oh my gosh, here we go again, another day. And it's just because I wasn't using all my skills, all my talents, all that I was capable of. Okay. When you discover your purpose, you just get this clarity and then you take action. And you can't help but take action because you can't wait to do it. I actually have a retreat that I offer. I actually run it every single month. It's called the Power of Purpose Retreat. And it's a day-long immersion online. And we are together all day going through what is your purpose? What is your vision? And then we spend an entire month looking at what goals are yours to get there so you can start taking action. DM me if you want the link. I'll actually link it up for you guys so that you can have a look, see if it's a good fit for you. But I highly recommend it. And it's something that I do for my clients anyways. So I thought I am going to just offer it out to you guys too. If you were ready to get unstuck, if you were ready to start being intentional and on purpose, it's a good fit. I hope you had some serious aha moments today. Please post them. I would love to hear about them. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for gifting yourself with the time. And really, I want you to sit with this because this is crucial. Deal? Deal. Have an amazing day, you guys.